Americano. And,
Okay.
oh, a medium one, please, hot.
Want it
And
what?
yes. And can I have carrot cake? You want to try the breakfast sandwich? It's like a cocoa bread with egg. Yes. What's the what's it called? The one with the cocoa bread and the egg.
Everything in it?
What's everything?
Egg, bacon, pickle, tomato, mayo.
Yes.
That's it?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. She's gonna take them off the plate. I love when I can see the green from the carrots. Thank you. Yeah. Hi, how are you? We're in April now, and the year is going really quickly. It felt like it started a little slower, but we're here. We've made it. I'm very casual today. I am trying to take a breather from work and life, and we're at Ragamuffin Cafe, which is on Lady Musgrave Road in Kingston. It's really nice here. I haven't come here to work before, but I've come here to have their food on the way back. Like I drop my kids and grab something and then go back home with it. And their offerings are really nice. They have nice bowls, and they have coffee and stuff. And we'll talk about it in a little bit. But anyways, let's try carrot cake and an Americano. So where's it's not, listen, coffee already has a strong flavor, but it's not burned. It's rich. Like, it doesn't taste like more water than coffee. This is so good. All right, so I actually got something else. So they have this sandwich. These are cocoa breads. So if you're not Jamaican, they have cocoa bread in other parts of the Caribbean too. But it's like a really dense. It's not as popular, but it's a really dense. It's amazing. Okay, when it's done right, it's so buttery. Just don't think about the carbs. Just eat it and enjoy your life. So it's an egg sandwich. It's basically like an egg and bacon sandwich, and it's got little sprigs of, I don't know what is that herb. I don't know, like a baby version of watercress, but it's cute, right? With mayo, and there's a pickle. Oh, there are pickles in there somewhere, I think. But yeah, I thought that was really cute, and I wanted to show you what it looks like for breakfast food. All right, so let me tell you, there's this girl that I recently got recommended on YouTube. I just want to highlight her. Her name is Grace. I think from one, I've watched exactly 2 of her videos now. Smaller creator like myself. But I really like her vibe. You know, when you find somebody, I feel like YouTube is very good at recommending the bigger accounts. But when I find the smaller accounts that it recommends for me, I don't think I've ever lost. Like sometimes there's just somebody who looks like somebody I want to watch, or they're talking about something that I'd be interested in hearing about. And I watch and I really enjoy them. And I think I'll always come back to YouTube because I don't know, TikTok feels like overwhelming for me. So does Instagram. I also recognize that I'm susceptible to being influenced, and I don't really want to be influenced. So I try to be very careful and selective about what I put in. So when I go on YouTube and I actually choose to subscribe to someone, it's because I really want to see their content or I want to hear them talk as opposed to just anything the algorithm thinks I want to watch. So, anyways, that's a, I guess, mini rant, but I um, wanted to highlight her, and she did the cutest thing because she went to her grandparents' house, which I think is amazing. You know, books are expensive, right? And sometimes your grandparents just have things put on and they never yet using them. So she went and she found books that her grandparents had as in part of her haul. And I thought it was really cute. So not only do you get earlier editions that might actually be worth something, but you get to bond with the grandparents and see what doing? Since we're just catching up on life, I'm not saying this in like we're better than them way, but Jamaica is so cool. Can you imagine? You come into this coffee shop, right? And the reggae is playing, and there's art from local artists, and the plants are like birds of paradise, and like plants that are tropical and also just like colorful, like our people. And the person who is serving is deaf, and she teaches you how to say something. You're thanking her and you're doing it incorrectly. And there are rums on the counter, on the shelf, because they have coffee beverages that have rums in them. And the name of the coffee shop is Ragamuffin, and it's a little muffin with a rasta hat with locks. And it's just, I feel like when you have a moment to sit down and take in some of the things in life in Jamaica, it can be really beautiful. And yeah. All right, so my first book is called Vengeance on the Heavens by Dale Cridland. If you'll remember, I mentioned this in like our first or second video. I started it was from a Jamaican author. It's from a Jamaican author. He's self-published on Amazon. And I don't know this person personally, but I was just really fascinated by the fact that he wrote a fantasy book. It wasn't about Jamaican stuff, it was just from his imagination, and I wanted to support. So I got this book and I've been reading it, little by little over the past few months, and I finally finished it. So, pretty much, it's about these like godlike beings and humans and their interactions, right? It's made in present day. And so there's like basically folklore, if you will, around it and stuff. So let me tell you my exact review. I'm gonna read now, forgive me. So I wrote kick-ass fantasy with great pacing. Action-packed world building in a reasonable number of pages. So let me stop there. Sometimes when you have these fantasy books, like Lord of the Rings, like Harry Potter, like, they go on 400 pages, 500, 700 pages, 900 pages, right? But this was like under maybe 300, right? Or just over. So honestly, he built a whole world in a reasonable amount of time, and I think that's commendable. At the same time, I think the main drawback for me was the density of material. So there are a lot of names and places and histories happening that I felt like you needed to make and take notes to keep up. So sometimes, you know how in the Old Testament you have like X begets Y and Y begets Z, and it felt like that sometimes because they had to list out all these gods and then they have all these kids and all that. And I don't think it was necessary. Like if we didn't have all of that, we could get context without it being so heavy. All those names weren't actually present in the book, so it just felt like just naming names. I love that it was written as a standalone though, but I think there was enough material actually to split into two books and develop the main characters. So there's one called Robert and there's one called Teria and Helena. And so each of them could have been developed a bit more. And then it would have also been able to have a less abrupt ending. The ending was satisfying, but it was a little abrupt. I think it could have been developed a little bit better. Right. But all in all, this is a good book with a unique plot that this Jamaican author has published independently, and I will always appreciate when authors take the time and effort to give each chapter a unique title. You've heard me talk about that, right? As a tag on my Goodreads, like each chapter has its own title. I think that's special. Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro. And this is a 4 out of 5-star read. Okay, people, this book is so beautiful. Like you'll think about it after, and I feel very excited to talk about it because it's like it's unreal, literally, right? I didn't go in with any. I didn't read it. I went in blind, right? I didn't have any idea about what it was about, and I'm not going to tell you what it's about, but I will tell you that it is not what you expect. It's a little bit dystopian. It's set in England. But it's written by a Japanese author. He's also, I believe, this book won the Nobel. maybe, but it's won numerous prizes. It was made into a movie with Keira Knightley. I have not watched the movie. I'm actually curious about how they portrayed, the characters, but it's so special. It talks about teenagers and growing up, and it talks about our roles in life. Also, the narrator, it takes this form of narration that um, they develop with time, so it's like flashbacks and also present day, and it also it's I don't want to spoil it, but I guess I would say that um, it makes you think about like what we're put on this earth for, and also the experiences we have as children when you grow up with someone really closely and you see things from a different perspective. So I remember it this way, but they remember it that way. That's really interesting. And also, as someone who is like a hopeful person, I like when books end hopefully. It makes me feel like everything is right in the world. This book does not end hopefully, and I was okay with it. It might wreck you. If you're a little bit more sensitive, you might cry, but it's in a good way. Like I feel like this book will shift the way you think about things. Okay, that's all. This is my favorite cup of coffee I've had in Kingston so far. I will come back for this. There is no burnt flavor, it's just the taste of pure coffee. The cake is the same cake I've had at Toyota Jamaica, which was the last video. I don't like that the top is like icing sugar. I don't like it. The cake itself is fine. But mostly the sweet, since I don't take sweetener in my coffee, it kind of balances it out. Um, right now I'm feeling really grateful. I can feel the heat coming through the window. And even though I have this on, and sitting here for a long time would make me really warm, I just feel like I'm looking at plants and I'm looking at the cars go by and I feel really grateful. Um, the next book is called The Edge of Water by Olufunke Grace Bankole. This is a Nigerian author. And I gave this book a 3.5 out of 5 stars. This book is trying at the worst of times and hopeful at the best of times. It talks about mother-daughter relationships. It talks about tragedy. It talks about, also I went into this book blind, no expectations. So I didn't know what kind of book it was going to be. It talks about immigration. It talks about return migration. Right, you have people, Nigeria has one of the highest populations of people in the world. And of course, a lot of Nigerians travel to America to live, to make a life. In this book, we are in Louisiana, in a place that I feel like doesn't get that much discussion, like New York or California, LA, Florida, even, a lot of metro cities that get discussed a lot in books. So we're talking about Louisiana. And I think the African aspects of the Nigerian culture, the religious aspects of their culture and their particular tribe was really interesting. We'll talk about how men are trash. Men are trash. That's my first one for this video. And we see a little bit of that. Also, I feel like in this book, we see inner strength in women and what they have to endure. We also see how we can make unfortunate decisions and it can ruin our entire lives, right? So the idea is that as we get older, right, when we're younger, the mistakes we make can be fixed. Our parents can fix them first, but as we get older, like we're on your own. Like you made that mistake, that's it. Your life has changed. Also, this book, I will never. I don't care about. I can be religious or not religious. I don't think if you know you're gonna be on your own, do not have a kid. Do not have a kid if you know you're gonna be on your own. Some people, they don't think they're gonna be on their own and they end up on their own, and you don't have any say in that, but don't. Because this is very difficult to be on your own without support. And what else? This was a really good book. This would make a really good book club pick. Any book that has characters that you would absolutely hate in real life would make a really good book club pick. So I think for that reason, this would make really good book club pick. I don't know. The universe is conspiring to make me happy today because why is Garnet still on? Like I just feel like he has such like a, or had such a romantic way of singing. Even when he was singing about struggles in life, I think it's really beautiful. Anyways, the creative act. Wait, let me get it right. The Creative Act, A Way of Being by Rick Rubin. 4 out of 5 stars and insanely quotable. When I say quotable, you know those quotes that you see people put on like cookies and shirts and make tattoos out of? Like, that's the type of book this is. And he's just got them like back to back to back. And it's so much that you kind of have to like take notes and annotate and like write them down because you're going to forget. There's so many things. So this guy is a famous music producer, and essentially he was trying to give tips on the way that you could approach creativity and creative things, right? So making music, making art, making films, whatever it is. So I think it's something that any creative could approach. But I also think that even if you're not in a creative industry, we tend to think that okay, creatives as an adjective, right, as a noun, are only in a particular way. But you could be in education, like teaching is a creative activity. You know, you could be in medicine, the way that you approach your bedside manner, the way that you approach asking questions, stuff like that. There is a creativity to it, right? There's something that's personal in your style, and there's something that you can incorporate that's not just clinical, right? And so I feel like this is the kind of book that everybody could read and have something like take something positive away from it. And it's a self-help book that won't put you to sleep. Because like I said, I feel like he's just got bangers. And you could read any chapter, you could pick any chapter and come away with something that's really helpful for it. And I feel like what's really interesting, what I liked about this book was it was intended to be for a creative audience, but it came out being like just life lessons and like life things that help someone to be better, right? And not just like, yeah, so when you're going to produce, you open Pro Tools and then you do this and then whatever. Like, it's not that type of book. So if you're looking for that, that's not what it is. But if you're looking for something that's a little bit more elevated and like cerebral, but also talks to your creativity, that's gonna be this book. So I would like a physical copy of this and just to check in with it every now and then, you know? Ghostroots by Pemi Aguda. This is a debut collection. It's a debut of short stories. This is an African author. So if you love those things, it's checking all the boxes. Short stories, African author, debut. Sometimes a debut is so special because it's like witnessing greatness for the first time and you get excited about what's to come. This book, when you see people use the word haunting to describe books, 8 out of 10 times, there's nothing haunting about it. Like maybe there's a little mystery, but this like legit, like they were murking people over partner money. Okay, you know what a partner is? It's from the word partner. In Jamaica, in other countries, right? You throw your partner in, I guess in Africa too. So you have a banker and they decide to everybody throws the same amount of money each week and then you get your draw, right? So at a different point in time. So if there are 4 of us in the group, all of us throw money each week. If you're the person in the first draw, you have people who get the first draw, so that means them throw them money, them get the money same week. You never see them again. For that reason, they were murking people. Okay, that's one of the stories in here. The stories are haunting. Talking about mother-daughter relationships. You're talking about people being weird, bro, on some weird stuff. And I just feel like every single story was incredible, but my favorites were breast milk, contributions, that's the partner one, the hollow, things boys do, and masquerade season. Okay, and I can't wait to read more from the author. I feel like with debuts, especially from a bigger publishing house or an official publishing house, right, or that's not independent, that short stories tend to be a way to go because it tends to build confidence in the author. They tend to show how they do. So a lot of authors will publish short stories elsewhere. They'll enter competitions and stuff, and that will draw the attention of publishers. So if you've ever wanted to write and you feel like that's the thing that you need to get it out there, that's a way that people can do it, if you didn't know that already. Oh, and also, did I say this was 4 to 5? This was 4 to 5 stars. And I'm not a horror girl, I'm not a suspense girl, but it was that good. In 5 years by Rebecca Searle. I gave this 3 out of 5 stars, and before I got into this, I didn't read what it was about, but I saw everybody saying, "Oh, this made them bawl, they want to cry, whatever." And I was like, "Okay, let's see what the fuss is about." So, this lawyer is she's successful. She's married to this guy. You know, they're on their life plan. They're working together towards stuff. They're on their life plan. They're working together to work on stuff. And then they have she goes to sleep and wakes up with a ring on her finger and married to a different man. And it's weird. She doesn't know who this person is. And then the next day she wakes up and everything is back to normal. And she lives her whole life for 4.5 years after that, right? And then, so this is like, yeah, 4.5 years. And then she just meets this guy, the person that she woke up and saw in her dream. So over the next 6 months, right, hence the title of the story, in 5 years, this rapid the story basically develops in what happens with this lady and her relationship to this guy, and it unfurls. And I didn't know what it was going in, so the ending was kind of unexpected for me. um, I will, without spoiling it, say that the themes are on friendship, the themes are on I guess a little bit of like fantasy, or how would you say that, like speculation, if you will. It's speculative. Also, it's dealing with, I will say this, cancer is the worst. This and the other book, This Time Tomorrow and in 5 years, deal with the hint is that they're losing loved ones. And so that's where it comes in a little bit unexpected, because you see the relationships develop and stuff like that. And since she woke up with someone else, basically, she has to figure out, like, she starts to question her current relationship. So honestly, I don't think it was that memorable, but I think if you want to look that's gonna like grip you, like this starts out like waking up. It starts out very strong. Um, then you could read this. It will get you out of a reading slump if you're having one, for sure. So yeah, that is In 5 Years by Rebecca Searle. Right, Ragamuffin on Lady Musgrave Road. I have found my favorite Americano in Kingston so far. The carrot cake is the same carrot cake as Toyota Jamaica, I'm convinced, and it's not that good. So overall, I have to give food a 4 at Ragamuffin. Accessibility, there isn't really a step up. There's a little step, so you should be able to get in when you wheelchair. Parking, there is parking in the back. You can't see your car though, and there are only 2 spots in front, so that's not the best thing, but it could be worse. There is a place for you to park. In terms of workability, there are enough seats and desks for you to comfortably work. I did not try their Wi-Fi, but I assume they have it. And then the last thing is environment. There is art there. They have installations. They have nice lighting, nice ambiance. There are plants. There's a big picture window here at the front that you can get natural light. So overall, I really like Ragamuffin. And I think if you want somewhere to work or eat or just have a lunch meeting, it could be a really good place. I had a really good time today. I felt like I was romanticizing my life, and I love that for me. I think that I want to come back here just to get the food. Funny enough, as much as it's comfortable, I don't want to sit here for a long time. I want to come here with a purpose, right? And I want to eat, or I want to grab food and go home. I don't know if it's partly because of the parking or something, but anyways, I really thought the books we talked about today were strong books individually. I would recommend any one of them, but if I had to pick one, I'd probably pick Never Let Me Go. That one, or Ghostroots for short stories if you can't do a whole novel. So I'll see you next time, and let me know if you've read any of these books and which one you're most interested in reading. Okay? Bye. I really like your work, and it looks like it reminds me of Death of an Author. There's some other books like that, but larger out of Africa and fantasy type.
Right. So these are actually African inspired, so African spirituality. And right now my journey as an artist and a writer. I'm exploring speculative fiction, African culture, African spirituality, and mixing the past with the future. So I consider myself a neo folklorist. So this rooted collection actually came out of my speculative fiction practice. So I'm building this alternate Jamaica universe and writing stories around that and the different characters. So I started posting concept art online on platforms called Sinclair Universe. And people really loved it, but because I hadn't started writing stories yet, they thought it was an art page.
Gotcha.
And I was like, could this be art? Because I was using AI to generate the concepts, because I can't draw, but I have a wild imagination and I'm an artist at heart. So I said, someone pointed at something similar to this, a concept, and they were starting sending me messages. I'm like, how it touched them and how it made them feel connected. And I thought, could machines make meaningful art, like art that touches people? So I took one of the concepts that my followers really liked, and I started exploring with the rooted collection, and I took some inspiration from photography. They have this technique called double exposure, where they overlap two images on each other. And what I wanted to try was a triple exposure, where I wanted to overlap an image of a person, nature, trees, and then universe. And that's how the rooted collection was born. So each of the portraits have their own story. And the goal is that when people look at it, it's supposed to ground them in something specific. So we have like, this is Harith the cultivator, and this is Amina the grounded guardian, and this is Adam, and they each have their names and their stories. And I set it up here because I thought it would be a great like experiment. And Ragamuffin has been super great, like helpful in supporting me, so people can like download like digital copies if they want, and then I also have fine art prints. Like I just wanted to add some inspiration in the space, a nice moment where people could reflect. So that's what's more.
Thank you for sharing. It's gorgeous. And when are the books coming?
Oh my goodness. I'm actually world building right now.
Okay.
So I kind of started out our society, I'll give you a sneak peek.
Okay.
So our society is actually run on a energy-based currency that's backed by the sun, and it's inspired by the Maroons. They actually have a digital currency that they're trying to onboard. That the idea is that instead of using things like gold to back currency, we're using natural resources. So I took that as my starting point, and then I've built out the world around the fact that what if our currency wasn't backed by gold, but we decided to use our natural resources, and what socioeconomic effects would that have on our culture. So I'm working on a broad time of 2020 to 100 and 21, 25.
Oh, I love that.
So I'm just kind of mapping out different things in terms of the culture, and eventually places like Ragamuffin will become portals where people can interact with the virtual world through physical spaces. So there will be like a Ragamuffin in our universe, but it will be something different,
Right.
but interesting and fun.
Yeah, I love that. Well, if you need a beta reader or alpha reader,
Yes, please.
I will. I'll give you my email and I've just started using Instagram now.
On Instagram,
I don't use it.
I used to be a content creator. But
I see.
Content creation was a thing.
Uh-huh.
I came off of that.
Oh yeah. I try not to.
I did it for fun.
Yeah.
And it
Well,
was nice when it was
fun.
I guess I took it off.
It's okay. I can give you my email as well. Thank you for sharing.
Yes.